Yo people, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm doing a Scarlet and Violet tier list. Now this tier list is going to be based on current investability and what I think is a good investment right now. So this means that some sets may not be as investable despite being a way better set than another, purely based on it being out of stock and based on the current market price or prices that you can actually get the item at. Now of course, if you don't want to sit through the entire video, which is about 10 minutes of me just talking shit, you can just skip to the end if you really want. But if you do want sort of reasons and backing behind why I actually rate each set as I have, then sort of stick around and I'll try and not bore you to death with constant rambling like a lot of other YouTubers do. I'll try and keep it short. Hopefully you don't age a year by the time I'm finished. I know everybody agrees that Prismatic instantly is a S tier. I feel like I don't really need to explain why, but I'm just going to give a quick summary anyway. So first of all, EV Evolutions is the main focus of the set. Everybody goes crazy over them, and this is seen before, specifically in Evolving Skies. Now, in Prismatic, every evolution has their own special illustration rare, and each of these goes for a crap ton. I mean, you can see here, I'm using Pokédata by the way, you can see here, total value of the set is $8,000, which for a brand new set is mental. You don't normally see these numbers until after a set's been retired, out of printing, and is out of stock everywhere, but just take a look. The Umbreon Raw, the Sunbreon is what everyone calls it, I guess. 1,600 pretty much. You've got the Sylveon, 550. Leafeon, 380. I mean, you've got the Master Ball of the Umbreon, which is going for 370. I mean, you've got a lot of sets in the Scarlet and Violet era where their chase card isn't even a third of that. You'll see in the next one that I rate. But obviously, this is just an instant S tier. I don't really need to explain too much. Now, obviously, there is the fact that it's out of stock everywhere, whether that be in the UK, US, or any other part of Europe. But I do think that if you give it enough time, you will see decent buying opportunities. Pokemon Company themselves have gone out and said that they will be increasing the print. Now, I know people might be a bit scared thinking they might print it to the ground, but I don't think personally that will happen. I think already Pokemon's factories are kind of near max capacity, and I think if they do increase the printing, I don't see it increasing the supply by like double, triple, quadruple. I think that's a bit unrealistic. I'm more than certain you will see decent opportunities to buy in at retail. You do need some specific products to go for. I think obviously it goes without saying I'm a big fan of the Pokemon Center exclusive ETBs, but I will also highly recommend the standard ETBs as well as the booster bundles. No matter how many restocks or reprints there are, I think this is an easy S tier. Enough said. Okay, another set which I don't need to speak about for too long, but for the opposite reason. I think Scarlet and Violet base is pretty dog shit. You've got a chase which is $53. I mean, you've got Master Balls in Prismatic, which I just spoke about, which is worth a triple, quadruple, even pentuple more than the chase. I mean, I think the art is okay, but that's about it. It's got no investability at all, I think. In terms of comparing it to other base sets, again, I think it's pretty weak. I mean, the art may look nice, but we're not really investing for art, are we? The set, I think it's been printed quite heavily. I think the chases are quite lackluster as well. Pretty dog shit. I would avoid. And look, total value 555. That is literally a 16th of the value of Prismatic. So I guess you could say Prismatic is 16, 17, maybe 18 times better than Scarlet and Violet base. So why the hell would you invest into this when you can still get buying opportunities for Prismatic? And I think this is obviously an easy D tier. Pretty shit. Don't touch it. Not even with an 18-foot stick. Just avoid it. Next, we've got Paldea Evolved. Now, I think this is a decent set. You've got the Magikarp, which is obviously going for about $200 to $300 now. I mean, just take a look. The Magikarp in a PSA 10, easily above $1,000. You got sales for 1,400, 1,400 again. I think the artist is the same one who done the Giratina from Lost Origins. As well, you've got the second chase, Iono, which is not too bad. I believe it's got quite good playability as well in terms of the TCG. You've got the Sleepy Raichu, which is also beginning to gain traction as well. You've got the Tyranitar, which I think looks better than the Tyranitar from Battle Styles from Sword and Shield. But yeah, decent cards. You've also got these illustration rares as well, which I think look quite cool. These could pick up as well, specifically like this Heracross here. I think it's pretty cool art. Total value of 1.1k. Not too bad, not the greatest, but I think you can still find some decent opportunities to buy in at a cheap price. If you take a look at my previous video, it pretty much highlights how you can get boxes for cheaper, and I did manage to scoop up a couple Paldea Evolved boxes for £100 to £110. I think those are no-brainer in terms of investments at that price. Plenty of room for it to run up. And also the fact that it came out in 2023 June. It's the second oldest set of Scarlet and Violet, so I think because of that it should technically be the second set to go out of print as well. Obviously, this isn't always the case, but I do think this is one of the sets that will go out of print first, so you will expect to see gains faster than other sets. So because of that, because of the decent cards, because it's an older set as well, relative to all these others, I would give this an A. Next up, Obsidian Flames. I mean, I think this set is a bit of a disappointment. You'd think that a set purely based on Charizard would be a lot better. I mean, you've got 3 or 4 Charizard cards in this set, but none of them are really worth the price that you expect a Charizard to be at. I mean, look, you've got the Chase at $75, then the next one, 25. In my opinion, it's quite weak. I mean, you've got some really nice looking art here, but a lot of people just aren't fans of this sort of crystallization looking cards. Me neither. I do think there's some decent cards which do have space to grow, like this Sizzle. It does sort of look like Zoro from One Piece after he's just fucked someone up with his swords. I think it's a decent card, but again, I don't think this set is anything too crazy to look out for. $350, nothing to prioritize, and because of that, I think that goes in C tier. It's not as shit as Scarlet and Violet. Maybe the sentiment of it being a Charizard based set will maybe in the future boost up the value, but again, or when you've got sort of sets like these that you can still buy for around the same price currently, I don't think it's that good. Next up, finally a good set, 151. It goes without saying that the Generation 1 nostalgia is just crazy. I don't think it will ever go anywhere, and I think this again is a no-brainer S tier. You've got a total value of 1,400. Finally, a set after Prismatic worth over 1,000. I mean, just take a look at the art as well. I think it's just 10 out of 10. I'm a big fan of the Charizard. A lot of people aren't. But just look, I mean, even the Charmander, Squirt, or Bulbasaur, I think these actually look nicer than the Stage 3 evolutions, or Stage 2 is it? But yeah, a lot of value. I mean, look, scrolling down, we're on like the 25th or 30th chase card, I guess. $20 still. It is quite difficult to get for retail right now, but I do think you will get your chances. I mean, there's Blooming Waters coming out soon. I know the allocation for those isn't the greatest, but there could still be another maybe 1 or 2 products set to be released. So if you can, definitely prioritize this one. I do sort of give it an S tier ranking. It may be difficult to buy, but if you can scoop up any 151 product for retail, you've pretty much won in life. I mean, already you've got the Pokemon Center ETBs. I've got quite a few of them. They're worth £250 each, I believe even higher in terms of dollars. But those have gone absolutely parabolic with the Snorlax promo. I think Blooming Waters will do the same. The set's just attracting a shit ton of scalpers as well. You've got people fighting in Costco's because of it, catching elbows to the face like John Jones. But yeah, I mean, it's probably not the best indicator. And yeah, easy S tier, can't go wrong. Paradox Rift, and another decent set. I don't think it's as good as Paldea Evolved, but you do have some really nice chase cards. Big fan of the Altaria and the Groudon, I think they're really nice. And yeah, you have a total value of 900, which is again really solid. If you can get these for retail, or maybe just below, I think you're winning. This is a relatively new set, so I wouldn't go head first into just buying as much as you can. I think you could expect at least one more reprint where you could find boxes for way cheaper than what they are right now. But in my opinion, not as good as Paldea. Still decent enough to invest in it if prices are good enough. So because of that, I'm giving it a B tier. Now, Paldean Fates, I think, is a really, really good set. Still relatively new. It's been out for, what, a year and 4 days now, as of recording on the 30th. But I think this is a really solid set. The Bubble Mew has recently been seeing absolutely crazy gains. I think it's doubled in the last few months, so that shows the demand for it is absolutely crazy. You've got a total value of nearly 1.4k, which is solid. And you've got these shiny cards, which I think were a really good sort of gimmick. I'm a really big fan of shiny cards, like the Radiant Charizards, Bulbasaurs and all that. Taking a look at the top 3 chase cards, them combined easily have a higher value than all cards from some shittier sets. Obsidian Flames, Scarlet Violet. Because of that, I'm giving that an A rating. Next up, Temporal Forces. I think this is a solid set as well. Total value of 853, which isn't too bad. I mean, the main focus of the set are these sort of future and ancient cards. I'm not really too big of a fan on them, but the artwork is decent enough. But the chase is only worth about $100. I don't think it's too strong. I don't think people will look back and say that this is one of the best sets ever. I don't think the cards are too memorable. What is this Gengar doing to the Ghastly? That's kind of fucked up. He needs to be put on a offenders list. However, I only just noticed that. That is so weird. Yeah, again, pretty new set, less than a year old. If you do want to invest, I would say wait for a reprint, get boxes under retail. But again, I don't think this is a priority. I think the sets that I do rate higher are the ones that you should sort of go for. You can forget about it if you want. If there was a sort of space between C and B, I'd put it there, but I guess it would go in B for now. Next up is Twilight Masquerade. This is probably one of the better sets. I wouldn't call it an S tier straight off the bat, but you've got the Ash Greninja, which I think is definitely one of the standout cards of the generation. I think this pretty much carries the set along with the Eevee card. It's crazy how much of a chokehold Eevees have on the community. I mean, an Eevee card for $100 is mental. You've also got these waifu cards, which I hate calling them that. I think it's weird as fuck. But yeah, you've got the waifu cards, which have some sort of sentiment in the community. Yeah, decent cards. I think the Ash Greninja and the Eevee do really carry the set. I don't think the trainer cards really will grow too much in comparison to these sort of Pokemon cards. Again, total value of 1,000. Pretty new set as well, less than a year old, so there will be tons of reprints. I think currently these are definitely an A tier. I think it's slightly below Paldea right now purely because it's newer. I think it will take the spotlight off Paldea and sort of dethrone it in that higher A tier category eventually. But I think purely because there's a year, maybe a bit more than a year difference between these two being released. I think Paldea is sort of something that you should prioritize buying now rather than Twilight Masquerade. But I would sort of buy Paldea as you'll experience growth on those first, and then maybe you could sell for profits and get Twilight cheaper, who knows. Next, Shrouded Fable. Dog shit, don't really speak too much about it. I think it's slightly better than Scarlet and Violet. I think if you really want to invest in this set, for whatever reason, maybe you're a fan of it, I would strictly go for the Pokemon Center versions of the boxes. I think other than that, it's a dog shit investment. D for dog shit. Next up, Stellar Crown. Again, pretty new set. I think the Squirtle and Bulbasaur cards are sort of the highlights of the set. I do think these will probably be more expensive than this. I don't even know how you pronounce that. I won't even try to. Other than that, I don't think this set is very good at all. Again, 537 value, which is pretty shit. We've seen shitter. I did make a video on Stellar Crown Pokemon Center ETBs. I think those specifically are a good investment with the Noctowl promo with the Pokemon Center stamp. And I did say that these Squirtle and Bulbasaur are the highlights, and they do really carry the set. I think without them, there would be a horrible, horrible set. I would definitely be putting Stellar Crown in sort of C tier. I do think it's better than Obsidian Flames purely from a value point of view. I think Obsidian Flames is around $350 total value, whereas Stellar Crown is sitting at $540. Again, you can currently buy the Pokemon Center ETBs, which I think are really solid investments. So because of those two facts, I would sort of put Stellar Crown higher than Obsidian Flames right now. Last, but certainly not least, Surging Sparks. Again, a new set. I think it's the second newest set as of recording. I think instantly these do go into S tier. Total value of 1,800, which is really good considering it's fresh. Got the Pikachu EX full art, about $500. Got the Latias as well, which is a beautiful card, fan favorite. You can see that the sixth most expensive card of the set is $60, which compared to some of the D and C tier sets, I mean, is higher than their chase cards. So again, that's a really good sign. You've got these sort of 5 cards, which are 80 plus. Can't go wrong again. And the fact that it's new means that, you know, there's going to be a lot of reprints. You will be able to get this set for retail, maybe even cheaper. I know I have been for around 130 a box for a booster box. So yeah, really good investment again. I think that's an easy S tier, but again, I don't think you really need too much explanation as to why. I think purely from a value point of view, it sort of tells you why you should be investing into the set and why it is an S tier. All in all, you've got these 3 S tier, and you've got your Paldea, Twilight Masquerade, and Paldean Fates in A tier. I think these 6 are the ones that you want to prioritize. There will be plenty of reprints, apart from maybe 151, so you will be able to get retail entries and maybe even cheaper for some of them. But I would definitely be prioritizing these 6 for this era of Scarlet and Violet. I think if you just target these 6, you will see really decent gains in the next 2 or 3 years when the majority of them are out of print. Hope this helps. I hope I didn't ramble on for too long. Hope you enjoyed the video and it has been of some good use. If you did enjoy it, please leave a like and a subscribe. I understand there may be a couple of talking points which I may have wanted to discuss that I may have missed out on. I may eventually come out with individual videos for some of these sets where I can sort of talk about them in a more deeper point of view. But I think for this video I wanted to keep it quite short and sweet, really talk about the key points about why each set is investable or not. But yeah, if you did enjoy, leave a like and definitely some feedback as well on the editing, thumbnail, and even my presentation as well. If you do feel like some of my talking points are wrong and inaccurate, please do let me know. I'm happy to take constructive criticism and different opinions. But yeah, thank you all for watching. See ya.